Until now, we have learned how to navigate using the push method. But here is another way of navigating is by using named routes. Now, suppose if you need to navigate to the same screen in many parts of your app, the previous approach can result in code duplication. The solution is to define a name route and use that name for navigation wherever you want. And the syntax is also very simple, not like before that we have to use material page route and then builder and lot of thing. Earlier it was much more boilerplate coding and all, but right now the syntax is very easy. The steps are, first we have to create two screens, which we have already done. Okay. And the second is define the routes by providing additional properties in material widget. So now we have to go to our main.dart page. Here we have to use routes properties here like this, and then curly braces. So this is also a property of material app routes, which will definitely help you in your navigation and clean code. So first you have to determine or write the string. It is what it should be called. That is the route name. So here I have just given slash, which means the home page. And it's a function like before only. And here I will be sending the home screen. And the second route you can have contact. You can have like this contact, and here again that function and contact screen. When we are using routes, then we shouldn't use home property. We should use initial route. And here, what is the initial route? Is this slash backslash. So I have to comment this home and then restart our application. Let's see the initial route is home screen or not. The initial route defines which route the app should start with. So it, by the name only you will understand. It's taking a bit time in my system. Yes, but it's done. See, the initial home screen is now here. And I will just send the initial to first screen. Let's see. Now, how to navigate to the second screen using the named, that is navigator.push name property. Earlier, we were using navigator.push and push replacement, but now we can use push named and push name replacement. Let's go to the first screen. Here, see, we have our push method, which I will comment and have push named method, and the syntax is very simple. Navigator dot push named, then context and the route name, and the route name will be slash contact. I will send it to the go to contact, suppose. So you can see the syntax is very simple. It's navigator.push named. Then here we don't have to use any material page route and all. Simply we can write the route name and it will help us to navigate. Let's go to contact and see the contact page is here. And similarly, we have pushed push replacement name. It does the same work as of push replacement. Only the difference is here we are using a named route. Let's click and see there is no back button. We cannot go back. Here also to navigate back, or if you want to create a button, then we can simply use navigator.pop just like before. The only difference is we are using name routes for us to navigation. Push named. And similarly in the main dot you can write as many name you want. Suppose second page, then context and second page, second screen. Okay, I will just write it second screen. Okay, so this is the way of using routes. Now the thing is, the only downside here is when we are navigating, we must have to remember this name properly. Suppose we write it, suppose contact.s or context, then it will show error. And definitely it's very difficult for us to remember the spelling, this backslash properly every time. For this, there is a small solution, and that is using static modifier to call naming routes. What it means is, if we use the route method to navigate from one page to another with a naming concept, then we have to remember the string that we have provided to its name. It's not necessary always that we remember the name when there are multiple screen in an application. So we create one string data type of it with the static modifier so that we can assign it directly, calling it through its class, which means simply means we are using a static variable inside our stateless widget and give it a name like this home. We will simply write static string id is equal to home, like this. Okay, and then in the main.dart file, we can simply write for the main, as the key we can write home screen dot id, and this will have a context of home screen. Simple. So it gets very much it's cleaner and nicer, and definitely you can remember the class name, at least that home screen. It's much more easier to remember than this string. Similarly, if we go to the second screen, we can simply write static string id is equal to, and then I can write second screen, like this, and go to main.dart. Here I just have to write second screen, and since it's a static variable, so we can directly call it without creating an object. So this is how it's done. As you can see above, we have used a static modifier with string data type to board the screen and assign it a string variable. Now the next thing is we have already written those string IDs, that is those static variables in the routes. Now it's time to call it, because we can directly access it easily and navigate from one page to another by remembering that class name. And now we don't have to remember that string and all again and again. What I mean by that, again in the context, same as before, like static string id is equal to contact. Then here simply write contact dot id. And if you can change this as well. Now when I go to the first screen, here I don't have to write this string like this contact. I can just simply write contact, and through the static method I can just call the id like this. See the difference? It's so much clean way of writing our and managing our code. I can just really go to contact like this and see, again it's working. There is no error if we are using this approach. It's up to you which one you prefer. If you are watching a lot of videos and tutorials, you might come across this method as well, because it's a personal preference. Whichever you like, you can do it. It's not always necessary to use this static, but definitely I will suggest you, because when you have a lot of routes, then it's impossible for you to write each and every string correctly. That's it. In the next video, we will learn more about how to pass data between two screens and show it in the UI.